Hello and welcome to episode 15 of our RPG tutorials. Today we're going to work on killing a mob, which means we got to attack it, and we have to have health stats and damage stats and all that kind of stuff. Today we're going to start with adding health stats. We're going to add hero and mob into the level unit packet, so then we're passing things through that we're going to have access to them in order to process information from them while we're looking at their opposite classes. So the heroes will be able to see the mobs, mobs will be able to see the heroes, heroes will also be able to see other heroes. Right now I'm only planning on having one hero, but we're going to start it as a list. We'll get to that in a little bit. We have to handle the damage taking and then kind of all that kind of stuff, and then we have to handle the when to do damage, which is the attacking, which is just going to be on a move. Essentially it's the same command as move towards a mob. And if there's a mob there, it'll hit it instead of move into the square, unless it kills it, and then it'll still move into the square. That's just how these kind of games work. So we're going to use base functionality to start with, and if we decide we don't like that functionality, we can change it later. That's where we're at for today. But before we get started, if you guys are liking this content, please hit that like button. It really, really matters. Been pretty light on the like button recently. Comments are gold, guys. If you guys can just take 30 seconds, write a comment, these videos would blow up instead of languishing kind of in the dark corners of the internet. And then subscribe if you haven't already. I know that about 70% of my views are not subscribed. So if you guys take a second to hit that button, it doesn't hurt you. I only release once a week. I'm not flooding your inbox with videos. But then you can kind of keep up with us and be a lot of fun, and we can participate together. All right, let's get started. Notice I've made the font bigger as requested, so hopefully this is enough for everybody. It is massive to me, so I don't know that I can really work with it being much bigger. I'm a little bit set in my ways, and I apologize for that at some level, but it is what it is. All right, so first thing we want to do is we want to set some stats. So we need a health stat and we need a damage stat, and we have this wonderful stat pack that we're going to be using. So let's create a function for setting the different stats. All right, so public virtual void set stats. Don't need any parameters for this one. We're just going to copy out this here. We're actually going to do two of them, so we might as well just copy them at the same time. The first one we're going to do is health. That one we're going to get a little bit interesting with, and then damage we're going to be pretty straightforward with, because I'm not really sure what I want to do with damage yet, and I want the test to actually work well. So here's what we're going to do for health. We're going to do 3 times level, which we don't have yet. Hold on. So unit. Notice we're doing this in unit, right? So that they're available to both mobs and heroes. So public int level, and then what else are we gonna need? Oh, we need to know if the thing is dead. So for later, public bool dead, and then in here we're gonna say dead equals false. I'm not sure why it stopped tabbing me over, but I'll figure that out. I must have changed the settings somewhere. Level equals 1. All right, good enough. Here we're going to say set stats. There we go. And then in here we're going to say 3 times level plus 5 times stamina. And how do we do stamina? Well, we say stats dot get stat from name. There we go. And then we just type in stamina. Don't spell it wrong, it won't work. And we have a little error output here. It's a stat, and I want to get a value. Okay, it's a little different in my prompt, but this is actually better, so cool. Sweet. that will give us, so if they have 1 stamina and they're level 1, they'll have 8 health. If they're level 2 with 1 stamina, they would have 11 health. But if they're level 2 with 3 stamina, they would have 21 health. Yeah, 21. Got that right. Woo. Live math. And then damage, we're just going to set it to 3 for right now, because for this testing purpose, I believe our imp has 1 stamina and will be level 1. So let's look. Make sure I'm not crazy. Our imp has 3 stamina. Well, he's not going to have 3 stamina anymore. There. So he now has 8 health, so if you attack it 3 times, he'll die. That's the goal. So it'll chunk him off 3, and then he'll die. And that's what we're looking to get. Okay, so another thing we want to deal with is, while we're here, let's do the do damage and the take damage functions. So public virtual void do damage. These are going to be super simple for now, but they'll grow as we go. So and take damage goes here. Public virtual void take damage, and then this was also going to start out simple, and this is going to grow. So do damage, we just need to know the target, right? So unit target, and then take damage, we need to know who the attacker is, and then the damage. So unit attacker, whoops, and then int damage. Okay. Do damage, it's a pretty simple one. It's really just target dot take damage, and then here it's going to be this, because it's this class that's attacking it, and the damage that we're going to put into it is stats get value for get I could have used get value from name, but get stat from name. We'll use this. I like this one better anyway. And then it's going to be damage. So double check us. That's an int, and this is not an int. It's a float. So let's just cast it. Okay. Now we have take damage, which comes into here, and take damage is relatively simple. Also, nothing crazy, because really we're just trying to get the mechanic down. But you can add all kinds of stuff in here, like doing critical strikes and all kinds of things. Whoops. It's going to be add stat value, because we are adding a negative. So, yeah, the name is health, and the value is negative damage. So in this case, it'll be 3, negative 3. This is 8. Should chunk it down to 5, chunk it down to 2, and then chunk them to death. Oh, death, right? Well, we need to know about death. So if stats get stat from name value less than equal 0, this is health, then dead equals true. All right, happy days. So we've added 3 functions. The first one just sets up our stats. That's called with our constructor. And it also can be called later to redo stats if you like equip something or whatever. The next thing we did was do damage. And do damage's job is to start the damaging process. In this case, we're literally just passing the damage through. Sorry about that. After we pass the damage through to the class that's taking the damage, then we apply the damage, and we apply whether it's dead or not. Now, in take damage, what we would normally do here is we would compare the attacker to the to who's being attacked for things like resistances and crit strikes and whatever else. Maybe there's a damage that does a % of health and all that kinds of stuff. You do that here, typically, not always, but typically. And do damage is just setting up what this damage number is, usually. That's how I organize it. You could do it differently. That's how I organize it in order to make sense of what's going on. All right, so that takes care of our our unit right now. The next thing I need is the level. And so in level, we've got to do a little bit here. Not a lot, but a little bit. We have our packet, and it needs to bring in the new information. So we're going to go to definition. That takes us here. And we're going to make two lists. So public, virtual, not virtual, public list. And that is a list of hero. And then that one's just heroes equals new list hero. Public list mobs equals new list mob. Now, in the past I've done these both as unit. And I don't really remember the ups and downs of that specific little choice. I think this is what we want because I've actually done both in the past. I think I liked this better. I was always having to cast my unit back up to a mob or a hero to get access to stuff that I needed access to, and I think this is going to be better. You can always cast back as well, so it's not the end of the world either way you choose. But I think this is a little cleaner to read and maybe a little easier to understand, but we'll see. List heroes list mobs heroes equals heroes mobs equals mobs. All right, that was super simple. That gets our packet adding things in properly. The hero we're going to do in just a second, but the mobs is really easy to put in. Okay, the hero, what we're going to do here to make the hero work is we are going to create a list out of our hero. And by doing so, what we'll have is the ability to add heroes to our game easily, and we don't have to redo our code every time. It'll be a little bit more annoying because we got to loop through heroes to do things, but it won't be as much rework later if we add companions or there are mobs that we can summon or whatever, right? We'll call all of those heroes in the future. So list heroes equals new list hero, and then we're going to say heroes dot add hero, and then we pass that in. Heroes. Okay. You don't have to do this every frame if you want to. If you want to get real specific about it, you can, add the hero when it gets added, and then never add it again, and just use heroes, and then make sure that when a hero gets added or subtracted, that it's done correctly. For this case, it's not going to hurt us too bad. We're going to leave it for right now. I don't want to try to stay perfect with that for right now. It seems like a distraction instead of, staying on target for what we're trying to go for right now. Okay. We're also going to find all references of this because there's more. And in here, these are references to things that don't have anything to do with heroes or mobs, so we're just going to put in nulls. You can come back in here and change that out if you really feel like it, but for our purposes now, null works just fine for both of these, and we don't need to fuss with it. Okay, we have set that up. Let's see, I think that's everything there. And then now we have to go into hero And oh, nope, we're not done yet. Hold on. Where's our mobs loop? Our mobs loop here. If mobs I dot is, or no, just dead. If the mob is dead, then mobs dot remove at, whoops, I, and I minus minus, why I minus minus, because otherwise you will, unless it's the very last entry, you'll be skipping a mob. Because if you remove the 6th entry and move on to the 7th entry, the 7th entry is now the 6th entry, so you've skipped that mob. So, okay, let's see. So we got mobs dying, which is good. And now we have to go into hero, and we've got to make some edits here. So edit 1 is going to be that we're going to pull the loc change out, because if we're not changing loc, then we don't want to do either one of these things. So because of that, we're going to put that into its own if statement. So we're going to attack by moving, or by attempting to move. That is the goal here. It's the simplest thing we can do. And when you're trying to put in a feature, that's how you probably should start. So if we are not moving, which means that these are 0, 0, then we should not be in here. Simple, simple. Okay. Now we're going to do things before we move. One thing we need in order to make this work is we need to know if we're still supposed to move. So bool still move equals true. Okay, and then we will, whoops, sorry about hitting the mic there, guys. And if we're done with what we're going to be doing and we still need to move, so still move, then we will do the moving. And then, so let's put some comments in. So this is our moving, right? Move location after testing location. Okay, and then up here we're going to say, we're going to check if a hero is moving onto a mob, which then processes the attack. Good. Okay. Now we got to look through our mobs and find out if we're moving on to them. How do we do that? Well, very simple. We make a loop. Less than packet mobs. This is why we had to pass mobs in. Not count. Plus plus. And then in here, we need to test if the mob is dead, just for bug's sake. I mean, the mob should already be gone. Mob not dead, and temploc.x equals packet.mobs I dot current location dot x, and copy paste and change to y's. Could totally make a globals function to handle this for you, but for whatever reason I never have. Y, oh, that's a T. Y. All right. So if the mob is dead, not dead, and we're trying to move on top of it, then we do damage to the mob. So we do packet mobs I. Okay. Now, after we've done damage, we have to test if we're still supposed to move. Well, what is our requirement to move on to it? Well, it would be if the mob is dead. So packet dot mobs I dot dead. If the mob is dead, or not dead, I'm sorry. We're already moving, I'm sorry. We're already still moving. We have to tell it not to move in the case where we're not supposed to move. So if the mob is not dead, then still move equals false, which should exit us out of here. I think that's it, and we're ready to test. Let's put some breakpoints in so that we can kind of see what we're doing here. Put breakpoints in on the take damage. Let's load it up. I'm sorry, this is going to be really small. I still haven't fixed that. I need to do that. That'll be on my next set. Apologies in advance. Alright, so we're over here. Oh, look, we have a mob right next to us. I'm going to push the up arrow. You'll hear it. There it is. Okay, we come in here. Our damage is 1. Well, that ain't right. Go to definition. Weird. Okay, hold on. Well, we'll see if it works right, but it should be a 3. That's very strange. Let's look at our stats and see what we got here. Maybe it doubled up something. Damage, health. Damage is 3. That's interesting. We'll capture that on the next one. All right, so the mob's health, let's see. Make sure that's correct. Is 8. So when we hit here, it should be 7. Make sure we got that right. It is 7. Okay, so that part worked. Something happened there. That's fine. Let's remove these breakpoints because they worked. Come back to the game. We're going to attack again. And then we're going to figure out what just happened with this guy here. Damage is 1. Okay. We set stats. And damage didn't exist, so it put a 1 in. Why did damage not exist for hero? It is a unit. It should be calling our units, health, damage. Well, we're going to have to restart and figure out what's going on with that, because I need to create a new hero. So let's check this. Let's find all references. Maybe there's something weird in here. I do not see anything weird. That's damage. That's correct. That's health minus damage. Int damage. It's putting in the one that it's finding, but it should do better. All right, let's. This is simple. We're gonna just start over, take a look here, and we'll debug it together, because learning to debug is crucial. Okay, hero was created, it sounds like. Here, let's check. What do we have? Let's check path. None of that helps us. It's got to be hero, because we haven't generated any mobs. Stat pack. There's 8 of them. Damage. Okay. We'll just do like this. So now we know we're creating a hero for sure. And all right. Play. Or Okay, we got an imp here. Imp, 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 imp. There should be 10 of these guys. Okay, and then what we're going to do is go to level. We're going to check our hero out now. Hero, stat pack, or stats, I'm sorry. He only has 6 again. Very strange. Why did our hero... which we're creating... Where did we create the hero? We're creating it in character screen, I thought, right? So... character screen, we create our hero right here. So we set it and follow through. Somewhere where we have a mistake. Alright, so that's not the hero we want. Bring this over. Play. Start game. We should have a new one. That's strange. We just passed him through as he was. Oh, because we never changed him. So that makes sense. Start game. Oh, it's right there. There it is. We overwrote the stats. So hero dot set stats. That's our problem. No big deal, but we needed that. So let's do this again. Make sure that we're in now. Sorry for the delay. I had to figure out what our problem was. Play. It's fine. We don't need that right now. We got a mob right over there. And then let's make sure that we have our breakpoints in. We do not. So let's put one in back down here again. Okay, here we go. There it is. I want to see damage. Damage is 3. Okay. So we now have the health ticking down. Let's double check our stats. Should be 5. 5. Good. We're going to leave that in. We're going to attack again. Should be 2. There it is. And now it should die. And we should move into its slot. Perfect. That's what we wanted. It's not there anymore. Alright guys, that is this whole tutorial. Sorry about having to debug, but that's sometimes just what we have to do to make sure that we get everything right. Again, if you made it this far and you haven't liked the video or subscribed or put a comment in, I really would appreciate it. It would help me so much. Every time you guys do any kind of interaction, it really helps the videos to kind of get some more reach and get out there. I really would love this to become a community where we all can work together and help each other. And I do help everybody on Discord. I try to respond to everything on Discord. I may not get to it right away, but I try to get to it within a day or so. You know, I would really like to have more people around to help. And if we can get that, that would be amazing. And the only way to get that is to get some reach out there and to get people joining Discord and working together. Anyway, that's the video. It's a good one. Moves our game forward quite a bit. And then we'll keep pushing forward on the next one. Thanks, guys.